Hello and welcome to the January Street Studios tutorial series. My name is Eric Sanford, and today we're converting music notation rhythms into a rhythm grid using Google Sheets. Why, you might ask? When using a digital audio workstation, such as Soundtrap or Pro Tools, there are similarities when using the piano roll or rhythm maker to the rhythm grid example we're doing today. Let's simplify the process with just rhythms first. We see on here that our measure numbers have a place for them. Our rhythms have a place. There's a place for our counts and a place to show what gets sound. In the first line here, we see there is 4/4 time signature, which means 4 beats per measure. And we see also that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 measures total. We'll start with doing that, showing the 4 measures that we have. Next, we will put in the counts. And instead of needing to type in everything on the row, we can make it very simple by clicking on the 1 and then do a shift, click on the 4 to highlight the 1 and 4 and everything between. Then we do Control and C at the same time. Then we go to measure 2 in the first square of the counts, and then Control and V to paste. Go to measure 3 and the same thing, Control and V to paste. Measure 4, Control V to paste. Now you see that we have our counts already put out there and we have the measure numbers written in. Now we need to put in the rhythms. We're not going to copy from here because it doesn't work that way. We can copy the picture we have in this cell here. We see that the whole note here matches the whole note here. We can copy this one and put it on count 1 of the first measure. We see the whole rest here in the second measure. We click, copy, and paste in the second measure. We see the whole note again in measure 3. We'll clip, copy, and paste. Then we see the whole rest again in measure number 4. Click, copy, and paste. Now we see that our music here on the rhythm matches exactly as it does on the line of music. Now we need to show how we get sound from the rhythm grid. If it's round, it makes a sound. If it's not, then it gets silence. So notes like this, whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, and others are round and they get sound. These other symbols, the whole rest, half rest, quarter rest, and so on, are not round, so they get silence. In order to show the sound, we will click on the box underneath the 1. And then again, shift click to the 4 because the whole note gets 1, 2, 3, 4 counts. Then we'll go up to the menu at the top where it says more on the 3 dots. Then we will click on the fill color, which is a paint bucket. And we'll choose a color for all 4. And measure 2 is a whole rest, and so it does not get any colored boxes. On measure 3, again, same as measure 1, we can again highlight under the 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, go up to the fill color and click on a color to fill all 4 boxes. And again on measure 4, same as measure 2, it does not get any sound, therefore no color. You notice that we put all 4 boxes the same color for a whole note because it's part of the same whole note, 4 counts. So that is 1 whole note, 4 boxes, 1 color, 1 whole note. Let's do another example. We'll go to line number 4 on my exercises. We'll put it at the top here. We see here that the half notes are side by side. these are slightly different. On line 1, whole note, whole rest, whole note, whole rest. Line 2, half note, half rest. Same thing basically as doing the boxes for sound and then boxes for silence. Same for line number 3, boxes for silence, boxes for sound. But on number 4, they're all combined together. We have to make sure we don't put those combined on our rhythm grid. So we see that it is 1, 2, 3, 4 measures. So we can just use the same copy and paste feature. I'm going to do that down here because this is a different line. We see also that it is 4/4 time. So again, we can do the copy and paste for our counts. Now this will be slightly different. We're going to get half note and half note. So we copy and paste. Half notes get 2 counts. 1, 2. So the next time we can put another one in is on the 3 or the 3, 4. Now we also notice that every one of these measures is the same. If we were to put 2 counts here for a half note and do 2 counts here, the same color for the half note, it now looks the same as it did for the whole note, which is not correct. It needs to be 2 different colors to show 2 different half notes. So again, we'll highlight the 3 and 4. We'll change the color. And so it looks like this. Now you can see that this half note gets 2 counts and this note gets 2 counts, but they don't run together to form a whole note. They are their own 2 counts separate. Because every measure is the same, again, we can use copy and paste. And so I'm clicking on the first square of the rhythm and then the count 4 square of the sound to highlight all these cells. I'll go to Control C to copy and then go to measure 2, count 1 and paste. Measure 3, count 1 and paste. Measure 4, count 1 and paste. Now you see that we have the same rhythm, all half notes for 4 measures as we have here. We did not have to do too much work to change the colors on this because they're already alternating. The same thing happens for quarter notes that are side by side. And when you get into more complex rhythms or combinations, half notes, whole notes, or half notes and quarter notes side by side, everything must be a different color. Let's do another example. We're going to go to this example here. This is line number 7 that we're going to do next. You see here that it's, again, 4/4 time signature. Again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 measures. So again, we can do the copy and paste for the measure numbers. And we can do the copy and paste for the counts. But that's all we can do for the copy and paste. You see here that there are 3 quarter notes followed by a quarter rest. Let's go up to the menu that we have. We're going to copy the quarter note and paste 3 of these for the first measure. And we also notice that each of these measures is the same, so we should probably just do the first measure and then copy and paste the rest. It only works if every measure is the same. Copy and paste the quarter rest on here. Now we have to show what gets sound and what doesn't. Again, if we were to change this color and each quarter note get the same color, it does not look like a quarter note sound. It looks like a longer sound, something longer than a half note and shorter than a whole note. It would end up being this dotted half note here, which we'll learn about later on. Instead of using this color scheme here, we can change the middle color to something different. Let's just change it to that blue. This way, the first quarter note is one color, the second quarter note is a different color, and the third quarter note, it can still be the same color as the first one because there's a separating one between it. It's now alternating. count 4, the box here does not have a sound because the rest is silence. If it's round, it makes a sound and has color. If it's not round, it's silence and does not have a color. Because every one of these measures is the same, again, we can go to the first box of the rhythm, down to the fourth box of the sound, copy, and then paste all the way through. We get the same rhythm and the same color scheme that we had for this. Another common mistake is when we get to more complex rhythms or combinations of rhythms, such as line number 22 here. 22 has a half note and 2 quarter notes in each measure. So let's do this one down below. We notice that again, this is 4/4 time signature, which means 4 beats per measure. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 measures. They are all the same. Half note, quarter, quarter, half note, quarter, quarter in each measure. So again, we can copy the 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, we can copy the counts and paste these in the counts. So now we already have our measures filled in and our counts filled in. Now we need to fill in our half notes and quarter notes. Again, we copy and paste from up top. A half note gets 2 counts, so it gets 2 squares. Quarter note is next. We get copy and paste on count 3, and again on count 4. We see that we cannot put a rest here on count 2 because a half note does get 2 counts, and so we're going to have 2 boxes of sound. Now on this one, we can put this green color again. On the quarter note, we can put a blue color. And if we really make sure we're not being confused, let's put something different than green or light blue on this other quarter note. Let's use orange. So now we have 2 green boxes to show a half note getting 2 counts, 1 blue box for 1 quarter note getting 1 count, and then an orange box for another quarter note getting 1 count. We see again that every measure is the same. So again, we can copy and paste all the way down. This is not always the case for all music, but when it is the case, I highly recommend copy and paste to make it much simpler. And there's that. There's our examples on measure 1. We have a whole note with 4 squares colored in, all the same color. No squares colored in for a rest, because rests are silence. On line number 4, we did half notes side by side. They cannot get the same color, or they would look like a whole note. So we changed the colors here. We could copy and paste these because they're all the same. Then we went down here to number 7. And we did line 7 on here. Again, we have all the same measure, 4 times total. So as a copy and paste, we can change these colors here so they're alternating and not be too confused. Then we go down here to line number 22. Show another example of how 2 green squares get 2 counts of sound for a half note, 1 count of sound for a quarter note, and another count of sound for another quarter note. If you have any questions or need to review any of this, feel free to go back into the beginning of the video and watch again. In the meantime, go ahead and continue filling out the rest of these on the examples so that you can also have these complete.